Hellride is a 2008 film produced and distributed by Quentin Tarantino and directed by Larry Bishop, also starring Larry Bishop. Larry Bishop was made famous from a biker film from 1968, which he played in. I've never seen it before, but I think it was one of his first roles as well. And Tarantino definitely loved this film, The Savage Seven, I'm pretty sure it was called. And Tarantino, once basically meeting up with Larry Bishop, basically praised the film that he was in back in '68, and this is 40 years later, made in 2008. Basically, gave him the budget to write and direct his own film, and gave him the opportunity to create his own biker film. Now, this one came out basically just before Sons of Anarchy started, and just before that whole craze, blew up kind of thing. So this predates Sons of Anarchy by like a month or something like that. And it's not a bad film. It's a pretty badass film. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not overly long. I think it's only like an hour and 27 minutes. And anything with Tarantino's name on it, pretty much, is a sell for me. Even though he doesn't have anything to do with the direction or the writing or the like. He basically just funded the thing pretty much and gave his trust and faith to Larry Bishop, which unfortunately the critics didn't back this one up a whole lot from what I've read up. But I don't think it's a really bad project whatsoever. It definitely delivers in the the badass biker stuff that you're expecting it to. It's got tons and tons of tits in it. You got sex galore. You got threesome scenes. You got orgy scenes. You got just bikers being bikers. You got bar fights. It's a pretty wicked film. Basically, the story. I'm not going to get 100% into spoilers, but just in case anybody hasn't seen it and is interested. But the basic gist of it is you got these two gangs. The main one is the Victors, and the Victors are basically the most popular gang in the area. This takes place in California, just outside of Los Angeles, kind of thing. And the other rival gang is the 666ers, which have not been very big in a while, especially since the 70s, which they were big in like 1976, and this is 32 years later, which most of the film takes place in 2008, with a few flashbacks here and there from 76. So the 666ers are kind of on their way up, and they're led by this guy named uh, fuck. It was played by Vinnie Jones. Billy Wings. That's it. Billy Wings is like the head, not the head of the 666ers, because the main head is the Deuce. He's called the Deuce, and he's actually played by the guy that was in a film that I just reviewed very recently, Children of the Corn 5, as well as Kill Bill. David Carradine, there you go. David Carradine plays the Deuce, which is like the main honcho of the 666ers in this film. So basically, back in '76, there was this really horrible situation that happened to this young woman named Cherokee Kism, and Larry Bishop's character Pistolero basically owes this woman his debt, and not his debt, but his promise, because he basically said right from the get-go that if anything were to happen to her, he would carry on her legacy, kind of thing. And then you have the situation where the Deuce murders in present day, or 2008 present day, this guy named St. Louis or something like that, and basically burns him alive in the same way that Cherokee Kism was burnt alive. And they're trying to find this box, and at the end of the film, actually, they play this whole Pulp Fiction style thing where they open the box, but you don't see what's inside, kind of thing. And there's really great like interrogation scenes, obviously Tarantino style-esque scenes with a lot of dialogue. It's definitely missing the wit that Tarantino knows how to put in his film. Like, Tarantino's the master of wit and the master of conversation, so obviously this film is not going to be as detailed and as prolific as a Tarantino film, obviously. However, I do also see a lot of Robert Rodriguez dialogue and style in this film for sure, especially with the score. I really like the music in this film, and the music and song choices. Costume design is great, obviously. The bikes look great. If you like, badass cinema with a shit ton of sex in it, this is gonna deliver for sure. There's a great like pool table scene where this like sexy chick is trying to seduce this guy by telling him or asking him if he wants to fuck before she gives him the bad news in which he won't want to fuck her anymore. And she's just like, please fuck me before I tell you the bad news and you won't want to fuck anymore and stuff like that. And there's this great bar scene between Mads Mikkelsen, no, not Mads Mikkelsen, Jesus Christ, Michael Madsen. Mads Mikkelsen is Hannibal. Michael Madsen, who basically made it famous in Reservoir Dogs by Tarantino. And then after that showed up in a bunch of Tarantino films again. And today basically shows up in every single low-budget film ever made. I swear to God, I want to find a film that he's not in when it comes to B-movies and low-budget cinema, because he is in everything, especially like sci-fi films and like those really cheap, like, monster versus monster movies. He's in so much. His resume and acting credits are huge. But he's really good in this film. He plays, a Tarantino-style character. And there's this big bar fight with him and the actor. I think the actor's name is Eric Balfour. He played in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, and he's also in this TV show that I saw him in, that I forget the name of the TV show, but I know he pops up in a few things here and there. He was also in Skyline. He played in Skyline as well. But I most recognize him from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. But you got really cool scenes like that. The story, it bounces back and forth a lot because we're dealing with flashbacks, and you got like black and white scenes because one of the main characters shows up at the beginning of the film dying, and then it kind of progresses from there. I really like the interrogation scene with the Deuce. The Deuce, obviously played by David Carradine, does a great job. As David Carradine, he's like a caricature actor. So he you know what you're going to get from him pretty much any role he's in. But it's a fun film. It's not a perfect film, but it's definitely a passion project from Larry Bishop. And Tarantino gave him the his faith, and according to Tarantino, he delivered. And even in a special feature, Larry Bishop mentioned that if there's anybody he didn't want to let down, it's Tarantino. He could give a fuck about the critics, and he can even give a fuck about the audience who doesn't appreciate, a badass biker film or the vision that he had going into it. But if there was somebody he didn't want to let down, it's Tarantino, and apparently Tarantino was very happy with the project. So fuck the critics, as always. I really like the film. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Like I said, it's under an hour and a half, and it's a lot of fun. And it's it's violent, it's sexy, and it's badass. So need I say more? But yeah, that's it. That's Hellride, released in 2008 and distributed by Dimension Extreme, which is also a really great line, you could say, that puts out a lot of more entertaining low-budget cinema, in my opinion. But yeah, go check it out if you haven't already. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with plenty more soon, so stay tuned if you're interested. Until next review, have a good one, take care, and cheers.